Welcome to my show. I am a guest here. Her name is Alisa Gracheva. Alisa, how are you doing, ma?
I'm doing wonderful and I'm honored to be here. So thank you for having me.
All right, ma. Firstly, I think I have a little background. You're a licensed physiotherapist and you're also a clinical mental health counselor. Can you please, ma, walk us through the journey of you being a therapist and how you're doing now as being a counselor, ma?
Well, I've been in the field of mental health since 2012, and I've had on and off, I had different experience of volunteering for a crisis text line. People in crisis would reach out to me. Then I created my coaching company as well, my coaching practice, and I was helping people through that as well with minor kind of difficulties with certain things they needed to navigate. So extra help and support that was provided. So I am now a licensed clinician. I've been working in treatment before with people with addiction and mental health disorders. And now I'm in a group practice. I'm in a private practice, private group practice, working with people. My specialty is trauma, helping people deal with depression, anxiety, and again, navigating traumatic experiences and whatever comes to that, as well as dual diagnosis like addiction and things like that. So this is my specialty at this time.
Thank you so much, ma. And that's why I want you to discuss more about that area, ma. Because I saw it on your information. I said you said since exploring the field of mental health, I have dedicated
Mhm.
myself to understanding and supporting individuals facing crisis, facing mental health disorder, and substance use challenges, which you just said now. Can you please, ma, just discuss more on that, ma?
Okay. Um, so we all go through a lot of different experiences in life. And nowadays, when we see in our world today, there are a lot of different experiences that happen to people, and it's hard to navigate. And we have to face not only being parents, being spouses, being, um, employees somewhere, carrying on with our jobs, but also certain things that keep haunting us from the past. We have experiences with trauma, different life changes that are very hard to navigate, but oftentimes as adults, we've learned from before to put it down and to never process our feelings because of the stigma of the past. And we bring that past into the future with us, and it becomes very hard to navigating the multiple roles that we have, plus also addressing some inner problems that we may be facing. Not a lot of people are able to process that on their own. Some people need some extra help, but again, it starts with understanding, okay, what's going on with me? Is there anything that I have to change to become a better person, right? A lot of times we don't have time to kind of look deeply inside and try to dig in. And if we do, it can become very disturbing because a lot of things that happen to us are very traumatic and distressing. So along with other responsibilities that we carry on every single day, we also have those things from the past we have to deal with. And so that's how, being again myself, growing through a lot of different ways of being an immigrant when I got to this country and I came here very early, then going through some very disturbing experiences myself, dealing with traumatic past as well. I figured it took me a long time to heal myself, and the process wasn't easy because again, looking deeply within and becoming aware of what's going on can be a very challenging process. So I didn't want anybody else to have to go through what I had to go through independently. That's why being in this field allows me to help people who may be struggling in similar ways to what I had to go through, and plus addressing those issues and helping them process that in this space here and now. And I love seeing when people do benefit from that. My clients, and they're amazing. I love them. All of them, everybody I work with, not only I'm trying to help them, but I learn a lot from them as well. And this is just opening up perspective for me and my own world, right? Of navigating that, because we're always a student and a teacher at the same time. So I love the fact that doing this work that I'm doing, not only I'm there assisting people in their own healing process, but also I'm able to learn from them. And that becomes a priceless learning lessons, priceless experience, and very nurturing to my own journey. Mhm.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mrs. Alisa. It was so touching because, and I heard you said you are once a immigrant. That means you are not from the United States. What country is that, ma? Sorry.
I actually moved him from Russia. So
Wow.
I moved here when I just turned 18, and I moved to United States at the age of 18. So that was quite a journey for sure. Yes. And I know a lot of people in this country can relate to that because even just relocating to another place, we're talking about another continent, right?
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people are here, they're foreigners, and learning the new culture, adapting to the new kind of regime, if you will, learning about people, right? And it can be a very isolating experience because again, finding people you can relate to, it takes time. And when you're very, very young, like I was very young, and it was hard for me to find the home group, if you will, someone I can relate to. And it's a lot of trials and tribulations we have to go through as immigrants, and it's one of the layers of those kind of traumatic experience we're talking about, because ultimately it does create a lot of shock internally when we do that. So adjustment period can be rough. But how many immigrants do we know? I mean, I don't know many people who actually go for therapy who went through that experience. So I feel like if I'm able to be that beacon of change for them, or beacon of light for them, to be
Mm.
able to adjust and also being able to relate to someone, I'm there for them.
I really respect you for that because you understand how pain goes through and you feel for others. You want them to understand if you are going through this, there's a way I could assist. That is very, very confident. I'm really proud of you, ma. I want to go to the point of personal growth, ma. In your own understanding, ma, what do you think personal growth means, ma?
Personal growth, that's a great question. I think it's going to be different for everybody because we all have the ways we need to grow in different areas of life. And for some people, again, personal development, I would say, is to me looking inwards, becoming aware of our own patterns, becoming aware of what can be blocking us, what can be stopping us from moving forward and becoming the better version of ourselves. And it's actually those aspects that are very sneaky and tricky because we all have defense mechanisms. And sometimes those negative patterns of our behavior come from us having to defend ourselves, right? Protect, survival mode. A lot of, again, people who are immigrants, it's we live in survival mode in the beginning of our transition. So I feel like becoming aware of those tendencies and understanding that those ways that help us to survive, they're not the same methods that help us thrive and have and enjoy life and loving where we are and being happy. Because survival, there's no happiness. Survival is we have to make it work, and I have to meet my needs in order to live. I have to be able to sustain a living. So coming from that survival to thriving can be a very difficult process because we tend to cling to those defense mechanisms and to those ways that's helped us be a part of the society, of a new society, right? Sometimes is people even who live in this country, they're born here, transition into another way of life. For instance, leaving their hometowns, leaving their states, moving somewhere else. It's also a trauma. Everybody has a way of dealing with that, with life transitions, with moving, with breakups, with loss of a job. So I feel like personal development is helping us if we really look within and we're like, I'm going to take this kind of challenge and I will see how I can grow from that in every way, whatever difficulties we meet, whatever challenges we have to face. If I look at it from a stance of, okay, you know what, this happens, I really have no control over it, but how can I grow through this process? And if I'm asking myself that question, what is the benefit for me of being better from this challenge? And taking that, opening our mind, right? Because we have to be first be aware of it, and then we have to be ready to say, you know what, I want to change. That's how personal development and personal growth comes upon. If I made a decision, I want to be different. I want to become the better version of myself. I want to be the Alisa 2.0, right? Or maybe 3.0, because we have so many versions of ourselves that we go through life with. But sometimes we get stuck. And so, whether it's an experience, whether it's our own kind of desire to cling to our past, that can be a blockage there. But ultimately, if we're asking ourselves a question, it's like, okay, what can I do in this situation? What kind of steps can I take in order to, maybe I can't control that, but I can control how I respond to this. And from that point can be a very tremendous growth for ourselves.
Yes, thank you so much, Mrs. Alisa. And I really relate it because for someone to change, it has to start from the person. I have to think, how can I do this? How can I how can I change personally in this area? What situation can I do to just change the situation I am? What can I do? And thank you so much, ma. And I know that your goal normally is just to inspire, help people who are passing through some circumstances, maybe mental or challenges like that. I would like to ask, do you have any other goals you have? Maybe writing a book or something like that in mind, ma?
Ooh. Well, I do write blogs a lot, and I've tried to make them very personable because I feel like, in this world when we feel alone, and a lot of people feel alone because, especially in US, right, we have this stance of being very, very individualistic, and we want to get whatever we can get, but at the same time we are kind of made to connect. We're wired to become one, we are one, but it's very kind of, we can separate ourselves sometimes. And I feel like we don't think that somebody else can understand what we're going through, and maybe they can't understand completely what we're going through, but some people are able to relate to certain things that helped us grow. And so my blogs are about self-development, anything I'm working on, as well as, going through my career and, you know being a professional in this field. But also, I always am aware of my own patterns, and I always strive to be better. So everything I write about is what I'm dealing with, and maybe certain insights that I've received. And when starting to put it out there into the world, I found that a lot of people can connect with that. And I've been receiving requests, and again, people just sending me saying, "Thank you for sharing that. I needed to hear that." And that made me understand that, again, we are much more alike than we're not, right? And it's only our perception of how we view life. And when we're going through some struggle, we may feel like we're alone. But at the same time, if we do bring that out to the world, we can be surprised of how connected we can be with other people. And I am thinking about one day writing a book, maybe with those blog posts I've had before, maybe enhancing them, maybe just putting them in like a little memorandum or something like this, that I can share. So possibly that. But I would say other personal goals are just continuing in the field of, or working with the specialty of trauma, because this is something I'm very passionate about, and continued education with that, and continue, serving people with those experiences too. So book is great. Any other ways as well, participating, if I can spread the word, if I can share my kindness, my, whatever I know, whatever I've learned myself, I'm definitely doing that. So a book, possibly, yeah, hopefully one day.
I hope so, ma. And you said blog, ma. The audience might want to know the name of the blog, ma. Can you just tell us the name of the blog, ma?
Yeah, so right now it's mostly on social media. So I have my Instagram, which is Alisa_art. This is where I post most of my kind of blog posts as well. I used to have the WordPress. Right now I'm just sticking with the Instagram, but that's where the blog is, and that's where people can read up on it. Hopefully in the future, maybe I'll have a separate space for that. Or again, maybe I'll put it into something more feasible, and having a book would be an option. But so far, yeah, Instagram, Alisa_art.
All right. Thank you so much, ma. And I know you face a lot when it comes to the area of migration from the Russia to the United States. I would like to ask, of recent, or if there is any challenges you face other than that, and how do you try your best to overcome that challenge? I don't know if you have gotten any apart from that, ma, but if you have gotten any, like how do you try your best to overcome that challenge, ma?
Ooh, that's a big question. So aside from immigration, I've had a lot of very challenging personal experience too. I've been in a very abusive relationship in the past, and that's something I had to work on. That's how I've learned what trauma is. And that became a very empowering experience for me. That's why I know that even though we can go through some horrific stuff, right, there's always a meaning for us to kind of get out of it. We can find a way to, I can't say appreciate our trauma, but being grateful where we are because of it. When we're coming to a space when you learn something from it, because again, if I'm able to surpass my own trauma, this is the greatest teacher there is. if I'm not a victim, if I'm going through and say, you know what, despite of that, I'm going to succeed and I'm going to be motivated, I'm going to be inspired, I'm going to make it work. I know it's rough, I know it's unfair, I know it's painful, but I'm better because I can be better because I have my spirituality with me, I have my tools, I have myself. And we have to, I feel like, facing any other challenges that come our way now, we have to learn to trust ourselves and to trust in our higher power. So my approach to life is, well, mentally processing things, of course, but I feel like spirituality has a big part in my own life. So I trust God, I trust the universe, I trust the source, I trust in my higher power and the energy that created everything. It created, opens up flowers outside, grows trees. It also made me the way I am right now. And I'm grateful for all of the experience I have. And knowing that out of any situation, only good will come and I'm safe. Knowing that if I have another challenge that comes my way, whether it's a financial, whether it's relational, whether it's work related, I know that that intelligence, the higher power, is guiding me somewhere. And this is a part of the journey. I don't resist it. I embrace challenges as much as I possibly can. And I try to learn from them and I try to see a meaning behind it that can help me be a better person. Thus coming to personal development, right? Personal growth. So I trust my spirituality and I've learned to befriend myself and who I am and knowing that, me and me are together. We've got this. And that's how I kind of navigate any tough situations. We all have them. Every single day, we face a
Yeah.
lot of different challenges. And if we learn that, you know what, can I be better through this right now? Can I react differently to whatever is coming, to this trigger? Can I face that with dignity? Can I go through this with grace? That's how you become more aware. And this awareness helps me to make better decisions as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Alisa. And that shows how free-minded you are, because that shows you don't have any shield, you don't have any issue with anyone. You are just free. Whatever comes, I accept and I just improve. That is very, very confident. Thank you so much, ma. And I want to go to, in my country, they used to call it energy. No matter what someone is doing, they have to be motivation. They have to be something that is pushing you. They have to be something that is making you to wake up every day to do it. So I would like to ask, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay motivated every single day when you're working on your goals, on your personal goals, on your personal achievements, man?
Great question. And very, very challenging question because I feel like there are so many ways of keeping your own motivation. I think number one, I would say, is being able to really follow your calling, right? Because if I really know what I love doing, any job can be hard. It doesn't matter what job it is, every single job would be hard. But if I'm on a mission with this job, if I'm truly passionate about it, if I know this is something that I'm meant to do while I'm on this plane, right, on Earth, I feel like if we follow what we're passionate about, there will be a balance between the difficulty and, again, feeling on purpose. If I'm not feeling a purpose, and I know a lot of people get stuck in places where they don't feel like they have fulfillment from it. They don't have meaning of doing what they're doing. So the jobs are all hard. And if the job is hard, right, it goes down. And then I don't have no motivation or I don't have no purpose in that. I'm not going to be motivated to do that job. That will be too much. And that will probably be very exhausting. Striving, what helped me go through many different jobs, right, that I wasn't passionate about. But what kept me going is having that personal goal and knowing that, you know what, I know what I want. And that resonates with my energy, with my soul. I know with my spirit, that's what I'm meant to do. Right now, I can't do that because I have to do X, Y, and Z before. But having that goal, having that intention ahead of me, and knowing that I will overcome those challenges because I know if I'm meant to do this, I will get help from another dimension, if you will. And you do get help from that. If you're following the steps that make you passionate, you will get help for that. And another thing is also living according to your values. So, for instance, for me, going through school, being, and getting my degree, it was a rough. I had three jobs and I had full time school I was a part of. I was going crazy. But what was keeping me alive was that I know that my value of where I want to be, my value is knowledge, wisdom, service, right? I want to be able to serve people in the future, even though I'm not serving them now. I want to make sure that I'm taking every step of the way rather than going out and partying with someone. I know my value is to study because that's what my first goal is, right? So it's priorities. We have to find our values and what's important to us, and then every single step we go, we have to see whether the steps we take actually goes along with our values or not. Because sometimes, again, we'll like to enjoy life, going out, things like that. Okay, is this a part of your goal or is this a part of distraction that you want? And so for me, I would be choosing what I need to do, right? I would be following this kind of thing, even though I didn't see that my service to humanity will be even close yet. But I would know that I have to take those steps. And so those steps would help me having that calling and always checking in with my own values and comparing that my actions and my values. Are they go together? You know? And so that's kind of how I was driven to be disciplined with what I love doing. But again, you really need to want it. If you really find what you're passionate about, you will feel that want, that desire to be there. And I feel like we have to take that and make that as a value. It's like, okay, yeah, I want to be there and I'm going to be there, but I know I have to do the steps first. And so getting discipline, yeah, you have to parent yourself. Sometimes we have to become our own parents and say, no, you're not going with your friends tonight, baby. You're going to stay home and you're going to study. Right. And so it's not an easy path, but if you really want it, you can make it happen. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. Determination, focus, and distraction. Thank you so much, ma. I really appreciate it. I learned some things there, ma. I want to go to the point of, because I know that it's not all routine that might work for everybody, but I know there will definitely be some routines you do that do works for you. I would like to ask, ma, routine do you find that's helped you a lot on your personal development area, ma?
I've used so many. That's again another really amazing question. You ask great questions that make me think a lot. So I've had a few, and I feel like one that made the most kind of progress for me in the area of mental kind of clutter. Because, in again, with our world right now, we have a lot of distractions with the phones, social media, news. It's too much information, right? And we have to really look at, okay, is it something that is it information that's going to make me better, right? Or this is information that will make me emotional about something while I can't do anything about, right? And so cutting off everything that I've done before with music. So I there was a point back in, I would say, 2015, 2014, when I wanted to declutter my head. I was like, this is too much. Something is going on there. It's not all right. So I stopped watching movies. I stopped being on social media. I stopped listening to music. And for 3 months, I dedicated myself to only listening to books, audiobooks, motivational speeches,
Wow.
inspirational stuff, people who've made it, and feeding that to my mind, which gave me a lot of new ideas. There is this beautiful quote that is, we can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. In order to solve whatever problem we're facing, we have to have a different mindset. But to get different mindset, we cannot do that if I don't change the information I put in it. Because if I don't get any new information, I'm going to be going in circles. And the problem that came upon, it's going to be in this circle. I'm not able to see another perspective of it. So I'm not able to um, kind of create the best outcome. I cannot solve it in the best way possible. To do that, I need to really dedicate myself to maybe studying, reading some new stuff, listening to people who have the knowledge of the problem. And there are so many beautiful teachers out there right now. You can access YouTube and see all of them. You can go to, even workshops, things like that. It's all available. But getting yourself in a space where you don't get those distractions that are not important, but really getting to the core of, okay, what do I want to get out of it? What do I want to do? Let's say how to build confidence if I'm not confident enough, how to find a new solution, how to get over a breakup, how to, there's so many how to's. And if you put it in a search engine, you'll get so many solutions to that. So I feel like decluttering the information we're putting in will allow us to really have new ideas and new understanding. And I always encourage, I feel like the three areas are very important. And I always say that to a lot of my clients as well. Three things: physical, mental, and spiritual, right? So, physical, at least twice a week. And I'm not saying go to the gym for 3 hours every day from Monday to Sunday. No, go to the gym twice a week, but make sure you're not going to miss it. Do it, for instance, if I fall out of habit, because if we don't use it, we lose it. If I fall out of habit, I start back at the gym for 45-minute session, and I just do that. But I do twice or three times a week consistently, right? To me, it's 4 times a week, different type of physical activity. So that's physical. Second is mental, and I recommend at least 15 minutes of new information. Probably not a lot of people would do like what I've done of cutting off completely TV, music. I know we have attachments to it, and that's okay, right? That's okay. But at least 15 minutes of something new. Whatever you want to learn, dedicate 15 minutes every day. I mean, we can find 15 minutes, it's not that much, right?
Yeah.
15 minutes, something new, but making it as a discipline. And third is spiritual, 100%. And spiritual, people can practice religion, beautiful. People can practice meditation, beautiful. Whatever it is for you that you need to tune into yourself, to find the connection to the energy within you, not the mind, right? But the energy that will go on and live on when our bodies are seized, when we're down to exist as humans, right? That energy transitions. We don't have to cease to exist in order to understand our energy. If I dedicate every single day at least 5 minutes, that's what I tell people. Set for yourself 5 minutes. And let's say working on a gratitude list for 5 minutes, just dedicate yourself to feeling grateful for everything you have. And not everything like we go for, I'm grateful for my family. Great, beautiful. You can start with that. But aren't you grateful for your kidneys or your liver or all of those organs within you right now that are making you so healthy and vibrant? And if we go within and saying gratitude to ourselves, there's a research that shows that if we talk nicely to ourselves, we actually are healthier, better, our bodies respond to it. And there are different experiments that show us how important what we say is. So use of affirmations, towards yourself. That's all spirituality. It's allowing yourself to see yourself in that the sacred person that you are. You're a sacred soul. You're a miracle of life. You're the art piece of the universe. You're so special and unique. We all are, and that's the beauty of it. So the more we tune into that, and the more we understand that, that's the spirituality I'm talking about. Allowing yourself to see yourself as sacred and as a part of something so much greater. So there's three ways if people want to change and they want to change consistently, just dedicating physical, mental, and spiritual. And I feel like if you tackle that, it doesn't take a lot of time. What I'm saying right now, right? I've had the extreme before, but it doesn't take a lot of time. So if people start with that, they can get some really good results pretty quickly.
Hmm. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ma. This is Alisa. So I really thank you so much, Ma. I want like to ask Ma if there is any advice you would like to give to the audience, Ma. What do you think? Like, if there's any advice, Ma, you like to give generally, Ma.
Mm. Oh, I think learn about yourself, learn who you are, what you are outside of the noise, because we all have a lot of noise. And it's family, it's school, it's society, it's our neighbors. There's a lot of noise, and I'm not even going for media and news and all that. But if we really dedicate time to say, okay, you know what, I want to know who I am. Who am I outside or like behind closed doors? Who am I when nobody's seeing me, right? What am I doing in my own private space? And learning about that and kind of learning whether this is something that we've learned and conditioned into, or this is something that feels truthful to us. When we begin to learn who we genuinely are, the authentic self, which is also kind of equal to higher self as we make that progression, right? So I feel like befriending yourself, becoming your own best friend, your own partner, your own parent, your own confidant, knowing that you don't need anybody to do it with you. You may want it, right? And sometimes you may need help to help you navigate that. But in general, you have all the answers. We all have all the answers inside, whether we believe it or not. And that's okay too. We're in different levels, kind of. Everybody's in different stage or space, right? But becoming aware of who we are, I feel like that's the first step. And I will highly recommend everybody just learning about themselves. What moves you, what inspires you, what motivates you, what scares you, what's defeating you, all of those things that we have. And you have all the answers. When you know the answers to those questions and you put them on paper, you're like, okay, now I can do something with it and create a better version of myself, because we have so many different shades and colors, and we have so many personalities, we have many roles, right? We have so many perspectives and so many angles. So learning about yourself, knowing how intricate and sophisticated we are as humans, with all of our mental, spiritual, emotional, all of those. So becoming your own best friend, I would say it's learn about yourself. Just really get to know you, get to know who you are.
Thank you so much, ma. I really appreciate Mrs. Alisa. And that shows that it's true because knowing about even me myself, since I've tried my best to just know who I really am, it has really helped me. And thank you so much, ma. And there's a question I normally ask, ma, from the ancestors, from the forefathers. If there is anything you would like to bring back from the forefathers, from the ancestors, ma, what do you think that thing would be, ma?
So if I like to bring up something from the past,
Yes, ma.
mm, my dog.
You're the
I
one
had
you really
a
like dog.
I have two dogs and I have a
Wow.
parrot and I have a lot of plants in many places. So I had a beautiful dog.
Wow.
She was very special and she passed away in 2018. And so
Oh,
yeah, I
sorry.
would love to bring her back if I can.
Mm. That shows the love you really have for that dog. Like that shows the love you really have for her. That's very, very impressive.
Yeah.
May the dog purpose rest in peace, man. Um, thank you, Mrs. Alisa, for your time. I want to appreciate you for the opportunity. I want to appreciate you for everything. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, have a wonderful day, man. Bye bye.
Bye bye.